All right. That's it. That's it. It's time. It's time to play Dungeons and Dragons, everybody. Welcome back. Watch it. Welcome back to another DMing Hadley's game. We're playing Assault on Ravenloft today. Is this okay? So this is season 2. I think this is episode 5. I think that's where we're at. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. If it's not, it is, and then we'll have to come back and play again to figure out what happened in episode 4. I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't really care. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm very excited about it because we've got these beautiful faces back. John is on a yes. Okay, with more detail. That's good. That's fair. That's understandable. John's on a boat in the Caribbean. Also, did you guys happen to see how big that boat is? It is insanely huge. Yeah, no. It's like it is a cruise liner that's got like 7 or 8 decks. It's fucking stupid. And all the whole ship just goes it's up. He was in like Margaritaville in Turks and Caicos or something like that. And he's sitting with his beer and the ship's right there, and it's just like there's a little bit of horizon and then just boom. And I'm like, yeah, dang. That's a lot of boat on the water for sure. You guys' boat's a little smaller, but I think it's much prettier. Although it does need to have some repairs done to it. You missed that too, Xander. You missed the boat got fucked up. Yeah, it does have character. We'll find out before the end of this game whether you do or not. Which brings me around to everybody's favorite way to start tabletop role-playing game, and that's the round robin. That is correct. During the round robin, we like to do 4 distinct things. Let's see if we can figure them out together. The first thing we do is rip up hog. We're just gonna let. Just go ahead, get it out. Yeah, good. Okay, the first thing we do is introduce ourselves. The second thing we do is share with one another and the world our pronouns. The third thing we do is introduce our characters. And the fourth thing we do is offer a vivid, aesthetic description of our characters so that they may live in each and every one of our brain holes. Because I like to vividly hallucinate with my friends on the internet for 2 to 3 hours at a time, 6 days a week, often multiple times per day. And today is no different. So, without further ado, Rob, why don't you take it away and show the folks at home how it's done?
Okay, let's try to do it better this time because I feel like my latest two introductions have been kind of sucky. Well, anyways, hi, I'm Rob. I go also by. Is it Croman? I have 2 things with Croman, so I also start from it. It's Crom.
It says it on the thing, Croman.
I don't see that, so sometimes I forget it.
Yeah.
Well, it is Croman. Also, Rob, I said that before. Well, anyways, I go by him. And today, in this adventure, well, this is Noller Marek time. Noller Marek. A sailor born to, well, a sailor and a mother that he never met, abandoned by his mother and raised by his father. He still he's in contact with him and sometimes visits him. Well, he was raised as a sailor, but until his teen years when he tried to venture out and, well, with trying to find a crew, until eventually he fell into the sea. When he fell into the sea, he was in the middle of a storm with, you could say, ocean monsters and a bronze dragon. The instances was he was rescued by the bronze dragon, and that also put forward and unlocked some of the things that were present in his blood, although he didn't know. And descendants of dragons, also his sorcerer's heritage, but also some other things that appears, well, since the beasts of the ocean tried to drag him further down. From then on, he tried to control this power. And for that, he went to study with monks, learn martial arts, learn how to defend himself, and to control his magic. From then on, he became a kind of unorthodox sorcerer and monk in both ways, but mixing his styles as best as he could and with an affinity with lightning that not many can say is the same as his, you will say. From then on, he tried and ventured forward to follow the breeze of the sea and to see which way is, well, the path for him in his life. And that led him to the Mercenary Guild, where many adventures ensue, and including a rivalry with a captain that, to summarize, that monastery that he trained and formed basically a second family with, that monastery is gone now. His second family destroyed. He lost his arm, and he lost friends as well, to some extent.
Damn shame.
And now he is going forward, venturing into the mist in this adventure with this folk to try and save more people for the Mercenary Guild. As to where he stands, well, he's 26, he's 5'11", and he is well, very human with black short hair, with a blue head grab scarf, and well, a blue leathery coat on top of a black shirt and black pants and black boots that you could say is a mix between the style of a monk and a sailor. And he adorns it while using his new living metal hand to travel these lands in, well, the piano ship that luckily he was able to take away from the captain that is now his rival. That's it.
Beautiful.
Way better than the other times.
I like it. That's smooth. Yeah, I like it. Keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
A TV, you ready to follow that up? It's non-committal, just like I expected.
Yes. Sorry, I was doing some technical things. Hello, I'm Ativa Panic. That's pronouns. I today am playing Svetlana Ivanova Strad. She's been through a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
She is now like finding herself overtaken by these rage bouts sometimes, which is super unusual to her. Like, she knows she's a sassy bitch, but like now she's turning into like a ferociously sassy bitch, and she's just not sure what's going on. She is 6'5" and always wears 17-inch tall heels, whether it be combat boots or stilettos. Just really depends on what she's doing. Currently, she is wearing a cute little tiara with a giant orange stone in it. Helps her out in battle sometimes. She wears very little clothing, just enough to like cover her spicy bits and like keep, I guess, her important internal organs safe. Nah, she doesn't actually really care. Like, she does actually have a giant scar across her chest in the middle of her sternum from where she was impaled by a stalactite on a mountain. So, yeah. Also, she is now the proud mother to be of a beautiful little baby wyvern. She can't wait. Like, the birth has been sanctioned by the actual parent of the egg, and the wyvern was just like, you know what? You seem cool. You can have my baby. So I now have a baby, and I'm very happy about it. It makes me so happy. I have baby wyvern. It's going to be my pride and joy. I know Rasputin's going to get a little bit jealous when I find him, but it'll be all right. It'll be good. We're going to be one big happy family.
It's adorable. It's adorable. Lovely. Thanks, Ativa. Jimbo.
Hiya! I am Jimbo. I use those he, him pronouns. Today I play Zero, who is an avatar of death. Description is blah blah, get to there. Zero stands exactly 5 foot tall. As mandated, Zero wears all black, a cloak and a pair of black knickerbockers held up by suspenders. They dislike wearing shoes of any kind or any other clothes. It is of importance to note the amulet of the Mistress of Darkness, the Raven Queen, that is embedded in their chest, and the skull that they wear as a mask, which looks like that of a shrunken Tarrasque. Black curls sneak out here and there from under their hood and mask, and Zero's eyes are the darkness of an empty eternity. And usually Zero is very calm, and last time we saw Zero, Zero was not calm at all.
Correct.
Zero was in a fury.
Can't imagine why. Well,
There's just this.
yeah, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. We'll find out. Beautiful. Thanks, Jumbo. Xander.
Oh, I actually wrote a little. Hold on.
What?
Never seen Clover, the tick-bittied holy woman of Satan that wants to kill her father and get a cool-ass hand. She's a wonderful squat little woman who has a penchant for putting on big black armor and looking like a demon. When she's not doing that, she's poisoning wells. I mean, giving money to the poor, helping them out, and healing people, not getting them sick at all. What she does with her own time is her business, and she definitely is a priestess of the god Abdi. You know, intelligence and wisdom and such. She is usually wearing a kind of turquoise holy robes with some gold gildings on them. Her skin slightly tinged green, dark flowing hair, and you'd notice that like there is a white, not a bandana, but just like a white silk. I just a bit of cloth basically just wrapped around the eyes, covering both eyes. In some sense, you sense that like maybe she doesn't super have like eyes left. But then in some sense, you're like, she's kind of just looking right at me. And then I pointed at that thing and she looked over at it. So, you're not too sure what's happening there. Apparently, she's in a little bit of a pickle right now, which will be interesting to hear about. I've also pulled up a secondary character just in case. Who I will
That might that I mean I hope that's not the
drop
case, but
it in your inbox just in case.
you know, I will add it to the well, here, I'll
Right.
send you the link to the campaign invite just in
Oh
case.
yeah, can you activate
you're-
Nerocine on
She's,
D&D
she's,
Beyond?
she's activated. I'll see her right there. Refresh your shit.
Sorry, you can throw it on my
But if it should come down to it,
up there, yes.
there's that. There's that. Cool. That's not how that works. Amazingly, just because you're undead doesn't mean you can't die again.
I'm almost undead.
Just deeply necrotized.
I'm still technically Fey.
Corrupted.
Corrupted Fey. Yeah, but it's still technically alive. Is the point? Like, heart must beat for live to continue.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate aspect of this for
Another
sure.
level. We'll see.
Absolutely not. Couldn't possibly happen. These aren't even remotely the same worlds. That's just leaves me. It's me, DMing Hadley, he, him pronouns. I'm going to play everybody else. And as I like to say, I'm here for about 60% or so of your DMing needs. I'm excited for a lot of reasons. But the first reason I'm excited is that I need a Constitution saving throw from Nerocine, please. Ooh.
Mod 20.
Ooh.
I know. It's being a paladin.
I love that.
Gotta break your promises. It makes you stronger.
Just a quick question. How many hit points does Nerocine have right now?
Currently, we're pretty beefy. We're sitting at full.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
we didn't get hit since that last.
Okay.
Unless you guys bopped me around a little bit last session.
I wouldn't say too bad. You're gonna take 24 points of bludgeoning damage,
Gotcha.
and currently you are stunned. But you did not take nearly as much damage, and you aren't unconscious, which would have been the other option for you. Uh, as you begin to stir, everything hurts, mostly your head, which has a big gash. You can feel the gash in your head and the blood running down your face. And as you start to blink, you see the gray sort of background of the skies in Ravenloft, that sort of heavy mist, quote unquote, that mutes the sun and leaves this a really dim and unnaturally even wasteland. And then you see a silhouette against that dim illumination as you're looking up from the ground. And your hands run over chunks of rubble and mortar as you try and sit up and can't really move. Can I get a perception check, please?
You're muted.
Oh, that's a 12 with advantage and +7.
Magnificent. As you look up, you see a dreadful silhouette standing over you. You see a scythe uh, with a handle of bone and a figure just black and looming over you. And as they step forward, they almost block your entire view. And as you sort of struggle to understand what you're seeing, you reach up and realize that your little silk eye thing is now draped across your nose and face and is soaked with blood. And yeah, can I get an insight check, maybe?
Oh no, no, you can't.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't. You
What
can't get
did
an insight check
what did you
unless you want
what
to
did
be
you
a good
get?
daddy and give me
What did
advantage
you
on it.
no? What did you get?
I got an 11.
11. Wow. What was
11.
that on the die?
Oh, it was bad. It was a 4.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing
Um.
good tonight. We're not starting off hot. You guys kind of set a tone in my head, and I think
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the
That's
direction Dice Christ
understandable.
is taking me today.
Hey, Narasine, death has come for you finally.
Bitch.
And now towers above you. Yes, Nolar,
I cast a
question.
web trick to try and
Unlikely.
stick him in place.
You're stunned. So that doesn't happen.
Can I just, since at the very least the other characters that were in the scene previously, can we begin to explain ourselves or intervene or any sort? Or
Currently, no.
okay,
Currently,
just asking.
you're on a boat right over there.
No, I was
Uh,
not.
oh, did you hop off and you hopped off and blew up the thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Bear with me. I
Okay.
will go
Can I
ahead
use
and
the eye
set
to cast disintegrate?
the scene. You're stunned. It's not your. It's not. You can't take an action if you're stunned.
Can I let my bowels relax and just let out a really nardsty Barovia toot? Just
We'll get a performance check on your next turn when you
okay.
can.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
It is a free action to fart, generally speaking, but with a roll attached to it. I want to see what happens on this scene first, and then we'll see if you can hold a candle to my girlfriend. So, Zero, what's up?
Servant of Vecna, your death has come for you.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I'm not sure if I know who this is, right? I know that you explained that we, as players, saw, but I don't think that we got to see as characters.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So, you roll me a history or religion check. Either one's acceptable.
I think that it's more proper to roll religion, even though it's my worst.
I mean, history is acceptable, but
It is acceptable, but it seems more appropriate.
Okay.
True to yourself.
And that is a modded 20.
Well, then, yeah, you get it. You figured it out. You didn't want to believe it at first, but yeah, those words ring from your mouth with a deep and unsettling truth.
What are you doing?
And I think that Zero flashes like as fast as they can towards. I mean,
You're
were
there.
right there.
You're right over. You are standing now.
I would like
over
to immediately
Narasine.
drum forward and interpose.
But he went into the ground.
I blew it. I blew everything up, and we saw his figure.
Yeah.
You can't kill her.
Well, I mean,
Suck yourself.
yeah. Let's do this. Bear with
Full
me,
feral.
y'all.
Full
Very. This
feral.
is real bullet time shit right here. Zero. What are you doing first before anyone
Okay.
interposes? Because that's not. We have 1.25 seconds have passed so far.
Right. Two things are happening with Zero at this exact moment.
Okay.
One is that call, that burn, that the Raven Queen's desire to destroy all Vecna things.
Yeah.
That is so hot inside Zero. It's fury and it's immediate kill. And they want to raise their sight and bring it down and take the soul of this person.
Can I fart before it hits?
But
no, it's not your turn. I told you, you're stunned. You can't.
the other side
There's turns to be had, at least as far as I'm concerned.
is Zero has seen what Narasine has done and is worth and is doing and stands for and moves for, and it's the battle inside Zero that this is not a light that needs to be snuffed out, even though the Raven Queen calls for it, just based off of Vecna. And I think that there's like full intent to kill, but like there's that weird pause that stops Zero.
I think, if I may, I think what we see is that scythe begin to swing, and as it comes down, we just see the hook of that blade come right behind Narasine's neck, and come to just an abrupt stop. And Svetlana and Noller, you are rushing into this scene. As
I'm gonna tackle him.
I'm gonna kick the side away.
Great. Can I get an athletics check from Svetlana and an acrobatics check from Noller? And Zero.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
11.
Okay. So I think Svetlana, as you are like leaping forward, you just see this streak of blue and black, almost crackling with energy, rush in.
What if I rage?
It's too late to do that. You Zero. You've never had anybody successfully take your scythe out of your hand. And so I would like either a strength or acrobatics, some sort of check, dexterity check to either avoid this or just sort of deal with all of a sudden this pile on in the instant that you're like, I'm not gonna kill it.
I think actually instead of that storyline, which
What do
I
you got?
was leaning into, that I really liked, we see in those brief moments, Zero's shoulders just like drop, and he gives up. And when Noller goes in and kicks the scythe out of Zero's hands, it does spin for a second before it's gone. And there was no fight in the hands at all.
And Svetlana, you just sort of are like, ha! And you're just like hugging Zero. They're not going anywhere. You're just sort of like, okay.
Zero.
I'm squeezing him. I'm holding him tight, like mother of psychopath. Like, no.
Zero, listen to me. What's going on? Please tell us what's happening.
I'm still clinging on to you right now. You can feel a little bit of claws in your sides.
I think arms like stuck down its sides. One hand reaches out towards Narasine and says, as their head drops, why does it have to be Vecna? Why?
Can I, just because of my past encounters with the captain, can I get an inkling of what he means?
Roll me a history or religion check, Noah.
It's gonna be real hard to stay a group after this one, yo.
Why both of this has need to be bad? This is the moment when I really need to roll 14.
I will say, Xander, for Narasine's sake, I think this is actually going in a very different direction than you experience. Although it is probably a good flashback to have the parallels. At least until right now, they're not lost on you. But I think we're about to see a significant divergence from that original experience. Noller, as you think back, you remember that last battle on the ship before you sort of claimed it.
Exactly.
And that green eye that Narasine essentially acquired there at the end of that fight, or just before the end of that fight. And I don't think she wore that silk, at least not as regularly.
Not back then.
And so for her to have covered that up, you're just like, well, it's Narasine, so that's good. But at the same time, now with it down around her nose, I mean, you're standing right there. You see her. You see this green eye, and you can see the necrotizing flesh around it, slowly growing outward. Just sort of in the orbital bone region currently.
Are both eyes exposed?
Yes.
Okay, so the other eye is kind of clockwork-esque. You would see basically like multiple, almost like steampunk irises moving in it, and that was my one homebrew item. I basically took a sentinel shield and I turned it into an eye that would allow her to see multiple angles, thus allowing for the enhanced perception and basically like a second ahead in time to allow for a little dodge, the AC, da da da. And that's the other thing and why she'd wear it, because otherwise it's just big old mechanical eye with a bunch of irises constantly moving around, glowing blue eye of Vecna. It's not a good look. Cover it up.
Okay. Well,
What are you gonna do?
Noller remembers back to the fight, but most than anything, he remembers seeing the captain in that fight, and also nursing. But he remembers what happened when nursing saw the captain. He remembers what she's seen, and he remembers word by word. I need that, and specifically referring to the arm the captain has. Putting two and two together, and more or less, maybe for 14 history check, having an inkling of who Vecna is, or these articles are.
I don't think you necessarily know who Vecna is in an academic sense.
Say that.
I mean, you've probably heard the name. So when Zero said it, you're like, you can put two and two together and be like, okay, whatever power the captain had and Narison had, probably Vecna. But as to like who Vecna is and where they get their power from, you're looking at the context clues right now, and part of it is that the Raven Queen hates them, and you're insightful enough that if the Raven Queen hates them, they've got to be some sort of undead entity.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Zero, listen. There is one thing that I feel you need to understand here, and is that for better or for worse, nursing really hates her father, and she will do anything to try and finally do what she wants, that is to kill him.
And then you see a and where do you go, Narasine?
If I was laying down, it would generally just be like the head would flop to, I guess, the left or right, and then it would just be the farthest point in that direction.
Okay. The ship. So essentially, as you look over to your left, you see rubble. The room, these guys right in here, essentially collapsed as this rock giant just smashed the structure that you were standing in. A few of your compatriots were able to get out, and well, they had a strange sort of help. And when they came back for you and for Adele, they were able to find you. Unfortunately, because of your somewhat fiendish energy, real unfortunate. But
Juwan helped.
Juwan did help. Mostly, or at least partly, because Narasine, you essentially took over his brain to help get you out from under the rubble. Yeah, Noller actually did that in a much more efficient manner. Just obliterating a bunch of these fallen stones and leaving this corridor, the same one that Zero marched down in his avatar of death form. But as you look out and are like, somewhere else, it's 20 feet or 30 feet for the Thunderstep.
Thunderstep? Oh, buddy. Talk about 300 feet.
Jesus, where do you want to go? If you go too much farther,
that's what I'm asking. Where?
Yeah, I mean, the edge of this space is there's sort of that lower level actually comes out this way, and that part there's no destruction really on that, and that's where the boat is still hanging, hovering off of the of that stone platform. before it just drops off into fucking absolute wasteland of stone that's been all but destroyed by that rock giant.
Cool. So it would be a thunder step to the boat and an immediate feral reaction of form of dread.
Okay, sweet. I think everybody's about 40 to 60 feet away from you right now. So as
also, was anybody within? Let me read this. 10 feet of me when I did that.
I think
Probably.
it's on the.
Probably.
I think it's on the receiving end though, not at the initiating point.
No, it's where I was.
Oh, it's where you were. Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. Yeah. What's the check? Constitution.
Constitution.
Have fun, everybody.
17.
Wow.
CGC.
You know.
12.
You know.
7. Congratulations.
Nice, nice.
I got hit over the head, and there was a scythe to my throat.
It's true.
Yeah.
This is very reminiscent of something for me.
Yes, because nobody else is injured here.
0.
Being grappled, I rolled with disadvantage. 18.
Magnificent. What happened? Hey, Narasine, what happens?
Basically, you see almost a la Noller, like electricity kind of, and then like her body just turns into it and it becomes like a flash of light darting away. But as that condensing happens, some of it dissipates into like the area around her. And that would be 15 points of
Thunder damage?
Thunder damage.
Yikes. Oh, no.
Or half as much on a save. Right?
Yeah.
And what was the save?
17. So you made it.
No. So
Okay,
how
so-
that's 16 points you said?
15.
15.
15.
And then she's basically in like an all black, essentially wedding dress with like a black veil over her face, over by the ship now.
You can get onto the ship. You can see it from where you were.
Oh yeah, I'm just on the ship now.
Okay.
That's stupid.
Are they pushed backwards, or are they able to retain their footing?
I think it's just the
damage.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. It's only a 3rd level. I don't think it's that
Okay.
that too crazy with that.
Checking.
Bring objects along with me. Yeah, I could have brought somebody. Didn't though. No, it's just a very, very incredibly loud, and does that damage.
I think that I would slowly let go of Zero, and I would just look at him very sternly, and I say, "This is exactly what he wants. He wants us to turn against each other, because if we're focused on fighting each other, we won't be able to kill him. Do you understand?"
This is hardly that bastard's fault. This is another convoluted mess on its own.
Everything that happens here is that bastard's fault.
Not really.
And I'm gonna just
Not really.
yell that and then start flying towards the ship. I'm assuming, did we see Narasine zap over there?
In that sort of cacophonous moment, I think if nothing, if you didn't, you sure should do now as you turn and see her, even small figure, silhouetted on the ship. It doesn't take anything to see them. They're not hidden. In fact, they look quite dreadful, one might say.
Yeah, so I'm gonna yell that and then start flying towards the ship.
Okay. Cyril, listen to me on this. She's impulsive. She's with a lot of anger, and she has made troublesome decisions. One of them probably that has made it has her eye. I don't know exactly what it does to her, but I know it's the same as the problem that I have with that captain. And I know how you feel about that. But listen, for better or for worse, that is still nursing. Her own stupid decisions aside, you have your duty, that is to bring the souls that are past their time to the Raven Queen, correct?
And you see Zero's just kind of like, his head has tilted a little bit to show that he's listening, but his head is still down. He looks like a whipped dog, like a whipped puppy for doing something that they didn't think was wrong.
I don't know how difficult it is or not, but I don't understand how that duty is important. You were made for that job. I have a duty as well, and that is to bring back the people that were from the mercenary guild back, hopefully alive, through this whole endeavor. I don't know what's happening with nursing. I do not know. She never sometime before she didn't have that eye. Even then she was actually a lot more jovial. She was almost, well, kind of like a little cute little kid even. But I don't know what changed. But I like to believe that is not still not necessarily lost. If there is a way we can both do our duties to maybe get rid of that I will appreciate it greatly. But also, because believe me, I also have my other issues. The captain that you met, I have plenty of reason to hate him, and even that's beyond the arm that he has. But saving the people that came here is more important to me than that at the moment. So please, if you can we try and find a way to do both our duties? I understand it's difficult, but don't try anything on nursing just yet. Please.
Without looking up, Zero says, sounds like the change was Ekna. You should talk with her. I'll find Adele. And with that, Zero goes incorporeal and goes into the ground trying to find Adele.
Excellent. Roll me an investigation check, please.
$18.
As you begin to make your way through these stones, I think we'd sort of established that you had a general concept, because Adele is sort of an undead entity, on their location. As we see you phase through these stones deeper into this rubble, you sort of fixate on this space, and realize it is completely inundated with big stones. It is like the entire second story on top of the area that was just the deck on the next level has collapsed in on them. And as you try to really regard what's going on, it's almost just like a smear of necrotic energy. There's not a body. There's not nothing. There's just, if you took a bag full of necrotic ash and got it wet and just sort of slathered it on a thin stone sheet, that's about what there is remaining of where Adele was.
Okay. So with that incorporeal movement, I can travel 30 feet before I have to stop, because it's rough, difficult terrain for me. And then when I do stop, I take, I believe it's 1d10 of damage.
That space wasn't far away from Narasini, so I think you'll probably take 1d10 coming back up the top before you crest. But if that's the direction you're going to head, or do you have something else you want to look for?
I have something else. I'm looking for a space just big enough to have my head and maybe hands free.
Okay.
That's it, where her body would have been,
Yeah.
would be, should
Sure.
be, is.
Yeah.
And would go ahead and take the damage for that.
Okay.
So, want me to roll for it, or you want to roll?
You go ahead.
Okay.
I did
Looks
get
like
a proper D100. Okay.
those are fun.
Yeah, I could knock somebody
That's
up.
so pretty.
Hook out with this. Yeah, it really is gorgeous. I really could just like stunk. It's like a little cannonball. But 64, so close. But I'm gonna essentially get to roll D100s. And since I have a D100, I might ask for it more often.
So I got a 2, which is way less than I expected.
Hey,
Hey,
it's probably that not all
and-
of you is stuck in there.
yeah, and the plan is we're down there. I've got the basics of where her body was,
Mm-hmm.
and is it in this one? Yes, this is the lowest, right? That I can cast it. Yes. I will cast at 4th level Banishment
Okay.
and banish her.
Interesting.
So she then, since she's from this plane, I believe Ravenloft is still material plane, her plane, right?
Yes, and.
Yes, and?
Yeah. Because of her affiliations and her undead reborn state, there may be some squabbling over where she shows up.
Okay.
But I will say this, because it is a very interesting sensation as you go to try and cast banishment. Nothing happens. The spell doesn't go off as it's trying to like into this smear of necroticness. It's like there's nothing to send back. You are trying to like connect and be like, all right, you go home now. But when you do, there's like nobody on the other end of the line to pick up.
Okay.
I'm also not going to take that spell slot from you. Because as you're trying to conjure this, usually you need something to focus on to make it work, and it's just not there.
Okay. That was the only thing I had to be able to save her. So then Zero then realizes that she's gone and dead, and we'll just leave her there.
Okay.
And come back.
Okay. As you come back out, what are the other 3 of you doing?
I am waiting for Zero in the same spot.
I'm getting to the ship to try and talk to Nirasine.
Okay.
The closer she gets, the more I position myself away. we're keeping a wide berth here. We're
Okay.
keeping everybody in a,
I would just
within a
land.
certain range.
I would just land on like opposite side of boat from her though, but like so that she could still like hear me. But I
Sure.
see her defensive position, and I just like land on tip of boat.
In there, see, doesn't take an insight check to see that this person not trying to cause you harm. But that is not to dictate how you react. It is just that even in your heightened state, or because of your heightened state, you can see that Svetlana is not continuing to pursue you beyond just trying to talk. What do you say to Narasine as you clamber aboard?
Well, at first I would just stare at her. I'm pretty fascinated by her eyes right now. Like never
Sure.
seen her eyes before, so
It's because
I'm
you're
just
too
like-
busy looking at her tits.
No, it's because she has her eyes covered. I look
yeah,
directly
sure.
at her face and those plump lips that, were they not undead, would probably have juicy blood running through them.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I'm just staring at her for a little bit. Does she look afraid to me?
Not afraid, just now in a state where it's less regarding the people around her as comrades and more of a situation where she's recalculating next moves.
Okay, so I'm going to tear a little piece of the black fabric off from the little fabric I am wearing, maybe like something around my collar. And I'm going to like hold it out and be like, look, honestly, I think black is much more your colored. But like also I would get glasses to make those cool things look bigger, but here you go. And I'm basically handing you sash to recover up your eyes if you want to.
Would it be shenanigans?
If you thought it, yeah.
I wanted to use.
You have
web
one
tricks
setting,
a la
Xander,
Spider-Man,
and it's shenanigans.
and
You
then
wanted
Spider-Man it
fucking
out of
web
her
it?
hand. Yeah,
Uh,
I don't have to get close, but I still get it.
How close? What's the
30
range
feet.
on the? Yeah, I think you could probably do that. Roll me a sleight of hand check, or I guess technically an attack. I don't know.
I'll do sleight of hand because that's a natural 20, so a 34.
Okay.
But it's her mouth that opens up.
Gross.
And I think for a split second there, it's just kind of like the mouth gets a lot bigger
Yeah.
than it should be, and then it
Yeah.
just kind of shoots out, grabs it, and pulls it back.
Yeah.
She's just kind of like,
I think as she's like, as Svetlana witnesses that and has like already witnessed a lot of the other things that Nirsin has done, she's just immediately going to be like, do you have blood in your body?
You know
Yeah.
that she does. Some of it's running down her face.
Oh yeah, it's running down her face. That's right. I'm just going to deadpan.
I just like,
I'm going to deadpan Nirsin in the face and be like, "Can I taste your blood?"
can I?
Like it's just a
I
thing.
cast a
Can you-
ceremony
can
to
you-
turn my blood into holy water.
Can you? I mean, in this case, it wouldn't be holy water; it would be
No, I know.
corrupted water. But
I don't like move any closer to her though. I just ask it, and there's and like, yeah, I I
I'm
don't want
gonna-
to taste her blood for any effects. I just need to taste her blood.
I need a Constitution or Wisdom saving throw from Narasine, please.
Constitution or wisdom? I'm
Yeah,
gonna choose wisdom. That's way better.
That's fine.
29.
Yeah. There's nothing about for some strange reason, nothing about this seems inappropriate.
No, it seems pretty par. Yeah.
And
Well,
you've
kind of
already
quiet.
got some blood right here. So I think you could just be like, okay, here's
Like
get
I've
it.
been there when she's
Get
asked,
it.
and I have not put myself forward each time.
That's
So
I
double
mean,
cover blown.
She could just get a little. She could just get a little taste, just a little bit.
Can I throw her the bloodied map?
Yes. Yes, you can. A very interesting exchange. But as you are, I'm not even going to make you check for that.
I mage hand it over.
Essentially, yeah. As that comes over, it's fully fucking saturated. We see little drops of blood hitting the deck of the ship as it's being carried.
The mage hand itself is getting a little saturated too.
Right.
I'm gonna look very disappointed. There's just a flush of disappointment that rushes over Svetlana's face, and she looks at you and she's like, "Not really how I pictured it going."
But go ahead and suck some blood out of this silk scarf, please.
No, I just
I look at her and say, "Not how I pictured my day either." Squinting.
And I just I pick it up and let a tiny drop drip onto my tongue. I don't want to actually suck on the rag that's beneath me.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna
but
drip
wringing
on
the
my
blood
tongue.
out and it's not.
Well, I mean that depends. Well, that depends. That depends. What does the drop of blood taste like?
Roll me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Fuck, 6.
It is absolutely awful. To the point that it burns your tongue and leaves like a spot, like a cavity of necrosis.
I'm going to immediately just be like,
the mixture of Fae, undead.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. It is
not even
bad...
a little bit of the Fae would taste good.
Okay. It's corrupted. It's corrupted all the way through. It would
be like too sweet.
Like rotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
I pictured more like, you know how when you cook sugar, it just turns into this black bubbling thing?
Correct.
Yeah.
But what the fuck happened to you?
What the fuck happened to you?
Roll me an Arcana check, please, Svetlana, as you ask what the fuck happened to you.
I don't know if I want to hear that from the vampire werewolf ex-bride.
Woohoo! So I have advantage on Arcana, so that would be a 25.
Okay.
The lower. Okay.
Magnificent. Yeah, as you're like, what the fuck happened to you? You sort of go through the list. You're like, okay, there's an initial sort of base of Fae, but then you start getting necrosis, and it's not just regular necrotic energy. You're resistant, I think, somebody is, to necrotic energy. This is more than that. It is a corrupted necrosis. And you're not quite sure which one is the precursor, except that that rush after the acknowledgement of okay, that's necrotic, and then there's a corruption, and it hits you like a wave, as if you've just taken the hottest, most condensed capsaicin and just took a single drop of it, boom, and just immediately everything in your mouth was like, no, why, no, make it stop. And it is a deeply powerful corruption, and a single spit does not get it out of your mouth, nor does it keep it from sort of running into your palate, and into your sinuses, into your ear canals. It's just like, just from a single drop of her blood.
Would she taste any of the corrupted former celestial?
I mean, technically, the corruption is of divine energy.
That's true. Yeah.
And so
I'm gonna look off the edge of the boat and just be like, Joan! Joan, where are you? I need you right now, darling.
As you look over, he has gone still with bloodied hands, now wrapped in thin bandages, and is hefting his backpack up onto his back. Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Can I just have little drop of your blood, please?
He looks down at his hands, similarly wrapped, now blood soaking
Do not
through
even
the.
think about giving me. Here, come up here. I'm going to.
She would see you
your
holding
hand.
the rag.
No, I
He-
just say never
Yeah, he's
mind.
looking
never
at you. You've
mind.
got a rag in your hand, and
No,
his.
I just say. I
Looks
look
pretty
at
bloody.
him. I immediately look at him. I say, never mind. Just get up here. I'm going to rewrap your hands for you. You did terrible job, and if I could just have tiny lick of your fingers, that would be great.
He shudders with excitement and makes his way to the port side of the ship from the back and climbs up the small rope ladder.
And as he's doing that, I just look over at Nearcine and I say, "Look, I'm very sorry. Your blood is disgusting. However, I, unlike Zero, not trying to kill you. Let me just get this taste out of my mouth real quick, and we can continue this conversation."
And you see a hand come up over one, and then another one, and you can see as Juwan pulls himself up and throws a leg over. He's still wearing a helm and a chain shirt, and making his beard seem to protrude more from the helmet. And as he comes up over, you see two bloody handprints with. He's still got dirt and fucking sand and grit on his hands. And he reaches up and grabs his helm with both hands and pulls it off. Yes, Narasine.
When
Yes,
he puts his hands
Narasine.
up,
Yes.
when he puts his hands up,
Uh-huh.
can I have the mage hand that was out for the the towel go and just flick him in like the dick?
And you can.
Just,
Why would you do that?
Roll me a
Okay,
roll me a sleight of hand check.
but it's like right, and he's like bringing his
Yeah.
hands up, so
Super
it's like
close to
No,
me
it's good.
though.
Yeah, no.
So
Yeah,
does
I
that
know.
mean that Nearcine would get closer to us?
no, that's a good old 30 feet. That's
Uh,
nice.
yeah,
That's a
you've got-
26.
Magnificent. You hear a ringing like a bell. And he looks down, and we see that like hand, and he looks down, and he looks up at Svetlana, and then he sort of looks to the side, and there's you can see him clearly now looking at you with his head cocked, and he goes, "I was trying to save you." Like points to, "I was trying to save you."
She's just giving a finger.
I am pulling out my water skin and like before he even gets settled, unwrapping Juan's hands.
Okay.
My water skin, by the way, is in my bag of holding. I'm removing my water skin from my bag of holding, and using it to wash off his hands, and then I like, I'm gonna lick his
It's
fingers.
mostly the blood in his hands isn't from any single cut as much as it looks like they just sort of like shaved off any callus and any like part of his hand that that could be involved in the process. There's no real deep cuts, but you can see it just sort of weeping blood into his palms, and he hisses and grunts as you wash that grit away, and you start to see the little thin tendrils of red begin to blossom into what little water remains on his hands. But he, as they're cleaned, he just sort of offers them up to you.
Yeah, I don't think I would have waited for him to offer them up to
Okay.
me. Like this very nasty taste is in my mouth, so I'd just be washing his hands and then just be like,
Much better. Much better. Not a lot to it, unfortunately.
Sounds
Just
bad.
because
I figured.
it's weeping, but Yeah, can
Doesn't
I?
get the other taste out of my
It's
mouth.
It's starting to. It's starting to. It's gonna take. It's gonna take more than that though.
And realizing that, I would probably
Yeah.
start lapping at his fingers a little bit more.
Okay. He's gonna make some
Constitution saving throws.
not so. Yeah, he's gonna make a con save, and fails as he makes an inappropriate. Oh.
We hear another ringing sound.
Yeah, there's a second ring.
I think I would just look up at him, and it would probably.
He looks up at you and goes, "Ding."
I would probably look up at him, and to him, it would probably look seductive. But I could be like, but I'm just gonna like, with my tongue half out, be like, "Don't make it weird, okay?" And then keep licking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good. That's how it works.
Yeah.
He's gonna bite his lip. And yeah, it takes an inappropriate amount of time. Noller and Zero, you hear soft slurping noises from about 60 feet. No, I'm just kidding. You don't hear that. It is fortunately far enough away that you're not forced to grapple with this experience the same way we are. What are you guys doing? And are you coming back to the boat? And are you talking to one another still? Now that Zero, you came out of the stones, right?
Yeah, Zero would have come out of the stones and would have been surprised to see that Noller is still there waiting.
Okay.
So it would like a slight like pause as Zero comes out of the stones, and then head down and move forward. And when Zero gets almost uncomfortably close to Noller, Zero says, "She's gone."
Are you sure?
I tried. I found her splattered body, but I couldn't even.
Zero, go back to the ship. I'll be there. I just have to make sure again.
And Zero then points to the northeast and goes, "That's our mission. Either, I don't know if I can go with you all now. Maybe I should just go that way." And his arm just drops.
Hey, listen, Zero. If you want, just steer clear of her, but do know there's a very least more people that you can trust in this ship. I hope you know that. As saying that, Noller's gonna go the same direction that Zero came from, and he's gonna do the same thing that happened before. He's gonna do just to pull the back up again. Goes for this area again. I'm gonna do once again erupting Earth where he came from to see if he can find what supposedly is the point where Adele was or is.
Sure.
So once again,
roll me an investigation check, please.
I mean, this is with the spell.
I understand. Roll me an investigation check.
Okay, I'll cast the spell. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Oh no, it wasn't bad. 14.
As you look out ahead, it doesn't take that much for you to start to see sort of this cloud of blackened ash amongst this, mortar and limestone or granite colored dust and rock. And as you step forward, you just sort of see a pile where that necrotic ash is sort of like dredged up. And as you look down, I think we see you sort of reluctant to just keep barraging this area to turn up something that Zero just told you isn't there.
Just Nolan's gonna see, and he just had to make sure. He's gonna kneel down and he's gonna. Now, as he does so, he's gonna go for take the ashes and put it in a little container that he has with him.
A little glass vial or something like that.
Yeah, a glass vial large enough, and he's gonna put them all inside, just in case.
There's not. It's almost impossible. I mean, I'm gonna say you're very dexterous. You can get some of this. It would be impossible to try and sort out this necrotic ash from that mortar very quickly. It is just sort of a stirred up. But you can certainly take some samples and collect those. And it is going to be primarily this sort of, like you said, that bubbled sugar where it's just cooked down to just carbon. It's that. It's that. Mixed with some grit and sand and powder from the mortar and these broken stones.
Well, I'm gonna take that, and just as that is done, I'm gonna head back to the ship.
Okay. As you make your way back to the ship, Zero, are you getting on the ship?
No. Zero, after stating his piece and then watching Noller dig a hole where Zero just came from, he kind of just looks at he looks at Noller, fulfilling what Noller feels is what he should be doing. Looks back at the ship, sees what's going on there with Narasine, Svetlana, and Juan, and he reaches into his everything that he was carrying.
Mm.
He pulls out those 2 cards and sets them down, the 2 coins and sets those down, the bag of 10,000 gold, sets that down, and then flies up. And when he gets pretty high, he just looks down one more time. Like, we have a thing to do, and it's that way.
Can I get an insight check as you look over all the things you've got laid out, and you see those 2 cards laying on the ground in front of you?
21.
Excellent. If I remember correctly, the 2 cards you have are the Artifact and the Avenger.
Yes.
And as you see those 2 cards, you have a strange, just sort of like sensation as you're processing them. What did you get again?
21.
Yeah. Okay. The artifact. You realize that Svetlana's been different since she came out of the vault. and you sort of put 2 and 2 together there, and you're not quite sure which of the things, and the essentially the reading specifically is the importance of some physical object that must be obtained, protected, or destroyed at all costs. That's what that card is, almost verbatim. The implications of that, you're not quite sure whether that necklace needed to be protected or destroyed, or obtained. It had already been obtained, so protected or destroyed, or both, could come into play there. And as you look down at the Avenger, it is still inverted from your perspective. And you know that that represents a hopeless battle and foolish bravery. And as you look at it, you think about what you could have done to Narasine just now. And you think that if you would have done that, you could have fulfilled what that card was essentially warning. And there's, I think that there's a significant sense that since those cards were sort of found in short order from one another, and what happened that lined up with those two things in short order, that you might have avoided that fate just now.
So I think that probably what it would look like to Noller as he starts heading back towards the ship, he would see like the pile of things that Zero was definitely carrying, like just sitting there. And Zero had flown up, and that's when like all of this thought like comes into Zero's head. And I think that Zero would fly down behind Noller, maybe as Noller's thinking that Zero has left and is just gone and it's like over because of the way that our interaction has gone a little bit. And then from behind Noller, Zero would be like, I think these cards are coming from somewhere else. They're giving us warnings. That I think I have idea. We should think about these cards more if we find them more. We should go, but we should, if we find more cards, we should pay attention.
Hey, Zero. Thank you for... I actually don't even know. Are you for the now staying, or...
I have an idea. By the way, I never needed that gold. I was just carrying it for you all. So that's yours. I don't know what the 2 coins are, but we should all pay attention to the cards.
Zero, thank you. Because I'll be honest, it is nice having you around. Now, come on. We still have goals to fulfill and duties to do, right?
Yeah, that's northeast.
Exactly. Let's go. And so Noller goes on and picks up however he can the gold that Sirius carrying, so he can bring it at the very least to the ship.
Sure.
And together, well, I guess rise to the ship, and well, what do we find on board the ship?
As the 2 of you make your way onto the ship,
I feel like
Um,
I'm not licking his fingers anymore.
I doubt it.
Definitely still licking his fingers.
Yeah, you're like, don't make it weird, and then you continue to suck on his fingers for 15 and a half minutes. And uh, no, as you make your way aboard, you see Svetlana sort of move out of the way, acknowledging the two of you climbing up, and or flying up. Yeah, he's just a puddle on the ground. He just looks like he's sort of melted like an ice cream cone, with his chainmail and his helm sitting there, with two bloody handprints, one on each side. And yeah, he looks like he's the you've seen the one where the girl smokes weed once and then turns to the like on the couch. He looks a lot like that. And as you come out, you see Narasin and Svetlana still sort of just regarding one another. And you see that as the two of you come aboard, that Narasin bristles, obviously. And y'all gonna have
Can
to
I
work that shit out.
can I step can I step in between Nirasine and Zero? Like as soon as I see Zero get on the ship, I'm going to step in front of Nirasine in a very defensive position and be like, okay, look, we need to calm down. Our enemy is that way, not this way, that way.
Northeast is actually that way.
That way. I'm pointing that way.
Nursing?
Just
Casting pair and setting it in Juwan's hands. Pair is you summon a pair in your open hand. When eaten, it restores 5 HP. When thrown as a ranged weapon, it deals 1d8 damage. So I'm giving him 5 HP of food to eat in his stoned
what an
state.
interesting spell.
Yeah, I love it. As you hand it down, you see he's just got sort of like one finger pointing upward. It seems to be the only thing that can stay upward, except for what's under the helmet. And as you hand him that pair, his fingers start to, and his arm just sort of like smudges up into the helm. And as it does, you start to see him reincorporate. And as he stands up, he looks and says, "That's amazing." Right down to just the stem.
That comes from the Raven Queen's garden.
He looks at you, surprised, and he stops for a second, seemingly wondering if he's just gonna go ahead and die now. And when he doesn't, he looks over at Svetlana, who's interposed between these two, and looks over at Zero through those bony eye holes, and he says, "I guess you should tell her it's absolutely amazing, and thank you."
Hand out, pats on the shoulder. You'll tell her soon.
And then
Jesus.
before Narasine gets a chance to fart herself into oblivion, Juwan sort of yeah, pretty much just about shits himself with fear.
Okay, that was in nursing.
Just the head turns towards you. Still form
Nursing.
of dread.
Nursing, there's really no need to give that format right now.
I keep it up.
Nursing, no one here is going to hurt you with acting sober. There are many things that are going on I'd be lying if I said I knew you well enough to say the right thing. But for now, I can say, no, nothing's gonna happen to you. The only thing we are is concerned about your well-being.
No. The only thing we are concerned about is killing that fucking bastard. I bet you this whole rock giant thing was all he's doing anyway. And the creepy guy in the cave, why is he even here unless he's in cahoots with the bastard? Think about it. Look, we have a job to do. Nirasi needs some girl time to herself. You need to leave her alone because what you did was just very rude and not gentlemanly like. And we need to go and find Strahd now.
What did I do?
Not you, Zero.
Yeah, no, I was like gesturing towards Zero when I said that, but I'm just standing to Nirasine's aid right now. And basically, yeah, we're let's go get that bastard. Also, has there been any change in the condition of my egg?
No.
Okay.
And Zero looks like, again, like the puppy that's been whipped, and like floats forward and pulls out the 2 cards and lays them down and goes, look, this is the cards that have been showing up. They're magic and they're warning and they're telling of our story. And I see now, this one is you, points to Svetlana, and you're missing Bobble, the thing. You're different now. So see, this is how I saw it, and it's the artifact, and it was we had it, but we were supposed to either protect it or destroy it, and we never did, and now it's different.
You knew that my necklace was going
No.
taken?
No, the card, I didn't understand the card until now. I was going to leave until now. And then I saw I know the card. And now, see, this one's still upside down because this is me. And this is me with Narasine. And this is one is like the Avenger. And this is where I've wanted to.
I think in all of this,
Zero then like slowly turns towards Narasine. I wanted to kill you, but I didn't want to kill you too.
I think in all of this, rage is starting to bubble up in Svetlana, like the thought of the amulet being taken and then looking at him and him saying that he wanted to kill Nirasine. And so I'm starting to get a lot more ferocious looking right now.
Can I get an insight check before your rage fully pops off?
Did Zero sneak me before?
From me?
Yes, please. Did Zero what?
How did that go down? Like, did he sneak me? Like, I was just looking one way and he comes up behind me and Or like, how exactly did that?
When we sort of opened that scene.
Like in the initial interaction that made him go off.
No, you were unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Having been bludgeoned in the head with many, many rocks.
A whole mountain and city.
Yeah, essentially a whole level of a city fell on top of you. And Noller just erupted that earth and destroyed those rocks and crumbled them into pieces.
That was after Zero had seen the same aura and color and smell of magic that was connected to the captain, which is connected to Vecna, which whispered in Zero's ear. And Zero flew into a rage and flew through the ground to kill whatever it was that was connected to Vecna, which actually ended up being you and not the captain.
But you never actually did this to me, right?
No.
You didn't actually do. Okay.
No.
Okay. I was about to request an eye for an eye. But
that was 19. 19 insight.
As you start to look at these cards, you see a couple of things. First, the back of them is this like deep chocolate brown, almost black. And there's a pattern on the back of each of these cards that looks like almost like a star chart. Um, there's not like constellations or anything like that. It's just sort of like the positioning of this like arm here and the circle there and a triangle there and this this very
Are they Taraka cards?
they are.
Would I know that since I'm like from here?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you would. This is probably the most ornate. The weight of them is heavy, although they're not much bigger than a standard playing card. Oftentimes, these cards can get very large, and the drawings on them very intricate. These are very streamlined, but when you turn it back over, the face of them has that same sort of gold foiled print on them. And it is also dark. So this gold stands in stark relief. And as you look at those images, the cards, the one that's inverted, the Avenger, you can't turn it over. Like you can turn it physically over, but when you observe it, any which way you observe it, even when you look at it from the other side, it keeps itself inverted constantly, and obviously imbued with some magic that makes it so that whatever it is that it's telling you, it's telling you. There's no you can't get around it. You can't be like ha, 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 and believe something else. Nope.
And these cards have just been appearing to us.
That's a conversation to have with Zero.
Okay, I'm really mad at him right now though. So I know of these cards. Would I know of people that I knew that like had these cards that practice like reading these cards to people?
I mean, not unlike tarot itself, any old dipshit can get a deck of these.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that A, they know what they're doing, or B, they can actually read them. But roll me a history check, please.
Ooh, I have advantage on history. Oh, that's a 15.
Well, I hate to tell you, but Strahd was actually a big adherent of Taroka cards. And you actually saw him use them more than you saw anybody else use them. And he would often have intricately laid forms that would use almost the entire deck. So deeply invested in the in trying to understand the future that it was almost difficult for you couldn't imagine how he could process all of those potential outcomes and what they must mean. I
think at realizing this though, I would immediately scowl and like swipe the cards away, and I would look at Zero and I'd be like, "You fool! He is toying with us. Can't you see all of you are complete and total idiots? He's toying and fucking with us right now. We need to go to him now and we need to destroy him."
Can I get insight checks from the other three of you, please?
$26.
10.
Natural 20, so at 27.
Magnificent. Noller, you don't feel like rushing up to Strahd, who just sort of rained on your parade and didn't seem like he was done raining when he was whisked away thanks to Juan. But Narasine and Zero, both of you can sort of see Svetlana's rage for what it is. Nice. And that is a very hurt individual desperately seeking revenge, regardless of what the long-term implications for Ravenloft or Barovia or any of these sort of like subdomains of Ravenloft. Her drive is simply vengeance.
Girl, same. Let's be toxic together.
And
I'll get to that. I'll get to that. Don't worry. I'm going to get to that.
And I think that you have sort of opposing and yet parallel takes on this, in that Zero, you are essentially beholden to carry this out or fail trying. And Narasine, you are thinking about the power that you can potentially wield, if not create your own entire domain by achieving this same goal. Zero.
Zero sees this and sees what's going on and holds up a finger and goes, at some point we should start talking tactics. I see you, pointing to Svetlana and then to Narasine. Hand comes out. I propose a three-way
Gross.
concept.
Is that what they're calling it these days?
As he reaches his hand
And-
out, I would have cast mirror image.
Ah, nice.
And then three
he
others.
only like flies forward just a little bit and goes, the first is the unimaginable for me. I am meant to kill your kind because of the taint of Vecna. So I didn't, when I did not kill you, I then have not followed the mandate of my queen. And one outcome from the end of this is that I must leave my queen. The other is that you could choose to leave Vecna and undo whatever it is that Vecna has over you. Or three, at the end of this, we all die. You and I die, or one of us dies. But we don't do anything until after we kill the bastard.
Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to die
Smile on her
except for the
face.
one person that deserves to die, and we all know who that is here.
She reaches her hand out and clasps yours and says, "A duel to the death at the end it is."
If that is the way it is, then. And the fingers slowly close around.
The tiny, tiny
Shake.
hand.
And then incorporeal let's go.
Nice. As your hands slip apart, Jawan steps forward and he says, I can't believe that this is just her chance. And he sort of hefts up his chainmail shirt and reaches into his tunic. And as he pulls out his hand, you can see that he is holding a stack of cards. And he fans them out, and there's 5 of them. And the first one is the necromancer that you see. The second is the monk. The third is the missionary. The fourth is the raven. And the fifth is the tempter.
The fuck is this?
More cards.
She looks at Nola, just like deadpan.
Joanne, where did you get those cards?
He said, I got all of these cards inside Gardesi.
Which
Were
is
they
magic.
inverted or
Yeah, he says, as you look at them, you see they're all upright. And sort of as per established, your perspective on all of them is that they are all upright and will be henceforth. And he says, I think that these are you guys. And
What? Could I roll insight for how he got to this conclusion?
no, because he's going to go into exposition mode.
Oh, sweet.
And he goes over and he says, Nola, you're obviously the monk.
Yeah.
And he turns and he's holding up both the missionary and the paladin, and he's like, I guess Narasine, you're the missionary, and I think that Zero, you might be the paladin. And he says, and this one's the necromancer, and he starts to look around, and he sort of hangs his head, and he goes, I think that was Adele.
If she's around, she's here. I show the vial.
He says, I hope she's not gone, at least.
I hope so too.
And then he looks up at Svetlana with the last card, and he says, and
He's having too much fun there.
obviously the tempter.
I don't see how some silly little kids game is meant to describe us.
Roll me a deception check. Because you sure as shit know better than that. Yes, Jimbo?
Fuck.
Sorry, I was away from my computer at the moment. When Noller says the thing about Adele, Zero does shake his head and lowers it and says just loud enough for everyone to hear, she's gone. I tried to get her. She's gone.
I like to think that we don't know that still. She may be gone, she may be not.
8, was that your... yeah, y'all realize that Svetlana's protest of this is rings hollow. And so much so that I think that the three of you are even more aligned with Juwan now as he's expressing this. It's almost heavy-handed how simple the connection is.
Harrison's just looking down at the card she was given. What was it again? It was the
Missionary?
Yeah,
the missionary.
Your least favorite position.
It's boring. She's just looking at it, and she's just kind of squinting at it like, do the cards know I'm a fake one or not? She's just like it. She's just holding it and just like staring.
Sure.
Hey.
Okay, so maybe they are us. Let's just say, what does that matter, Juan?
I mean, that was my fate. I found these cards, and then you found me, I found all of you.
could still be game he's playing with us. I don't think you come to realize how much control he has over these lands.
I mean, I know I've been trapped here for a while now. But at the same time, what if someone's just trying to send us a message? What if someone's trying to help us?
Would Svetlana know anything about the Velaki?
I don't know anything about the Velaki, so you tell me.
I mean, they're like the gypsy people of Barovia.
Okay, yes, actually, I do know that. I forgot that. Almost undoubtedly, but roll me a history check to see if you know more than they come and go and are often very capable.
19.
Yeah, you knew some. Only briefly. I think that after Strahd had given you that rose, but before he came to collect you, I think that you recall a young lad who came to town, and despite your desire to be with him and his bordering on insistence that he get to be with you, there was just an overwhelming sense that if that happens, it's not good for him or me, and I think you had to prevent yourself from pursuing that relationship further, even as much as you wanted it. But during that brief period of time, you were introduced to his extended family and their camp, which was not far from where you lived. And until you got in trouble with your folks, who found out that you were commiserating, you wonder if it would not have been better to just have Strahd kill you both.
And would, because they have their like fortune reading people that use these cards all the time.
Correct.
Would there be any connections there being made in Svetlana's brain at like the thought of like, oh, maybe someone's trying to help us?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm sure there are at least a few threads that you are teasing at, that there's a chance someone who can see what these cards really mean at more than their face value could be steering you if they know that you are all moving towards trying to remove Strahd. They could very well find a way to deliver these messages in meaningful ways.
So Svetlana's just like thinking about all this while very blankly staring at Joan, who still has her card in his hand because she hasn't taken it. And then she looks up. If someone were trying to help us, they're still very far from here. Very far. I still say we need to start heading in the that way position that Zero says to get us closer to our goal here. Sure, pay attention to the cards if you want. We will surely find who is sending us the cards there if it is not himself just trying to fuck with us, which is also very likely outcome. So just be prepared for that, Zero. Not everything has some deep mysterious meaning. Sometimes it's just the bastards fucking with you every waking moment of every day. And she's like kind of panting at this point.
I know that it sounds difficult. You realize he says that for you. For him, if the Raven Queen will have more anything to do with.
Well, a lot of good that does us. He almost lost us another party member. Does your Raven Queen want us to kill Strahd or not? Like, make up your mind, buddy.
Svetlana, do you remember how you were before?
Roll me a history check with disadvantage.
Me or Zero?
You.
Me? That you can definitely see drastic change of emotion in her face right now. That would be 5.
No. You don't remember how you were less than 24 hours ago. You don't remember how you were 6 hours ago. You are fueled with rage, physical violence, being the like driving force of everything you hope to accomplish. If it can't be done with violence, I'm not worried about it. And whoever you were before that or while that necklace was on you, you are not that person right now.
I'm staring blankly at Zero as you ask that question. You obviously, like, she's undead. She doesn't have much color to her face, so you can't see her face turning red. Instead, you see that like her jaw begins to start protruding and her teeth are kind of like sharpening and her brow is getting a lot more defined, and then she literally snarls at you like a wolf, just like and just like with her teeth gritted says, I want my necklace back. And she's just gonna storm off to like whatever private room might be available for her to storm off to.
There is a lower deck here, and I mean, I don't think that I don't know if any of you have actually used any of those spaces yet, but there are a dozen different rooms.
We did have a long rest in this ship, so
Okay.
then I mean, so we,
Yeah,
At
so
some point.
I storm
Okay.
off to my room after like snarling in Zero's face, like to the point where maybe even some drool got on your face. Because that
Just
made
a
me
little
very
ropey tendril.
it made me very upset, and you all definitely saw like my face turning animalistic.
Turning towards Narasine.
I turn
This is
away from
not
Zero to
how-
John.
This is not how we start talking tactics. If we can work together, we should all be able to talk to each other.
okay.
These cards seem to be important and seem to be drawing relevant or pointing to all of us. Juan, I have an important question for you.
He turns from Narasine, who's sort of like staring at him, back to you. Yes.
Are you a spy?
He squints, and his brow furrows. And he goes, "I don't think so."
Insight?
And what did you mean a chance before?
Say that again, Sander.
Oh, she was asking what he meant by a chance before, because he'd mentioned like, well, this could be her chance before he like pulled out the cards or something.
Oh.
Or maybe I misheard it or something. You muted.
He said that it was by chance that he
By
had the
chance.
clues.
Okay, never mind.
How's that insight?
Zero got an 11.
I got a 9.
This is an important question. I'm
Okay.
going to use my inspiration.
Okay.
And I'm going to re-roll.
Okay.
And Narasine doesn't care.
Great.
And okay, 16 this time.
Okay. Um, the the I don't think so. Definitely puts both of you back on your heels a little bit. You're like, what the fuck do you mean you don't think so? Um, but so Noller, as you sort of look over and you're like, okay, this guy's on my boat and he doesn't even know whether he's a plant or a spy. That's not great. That's not great. And that's about the same sentiment you feel at first, Zero. But as you look at him, are you able to detect good and evil?
I have true sight, and yes. Well, I have the divine sense as well,
Okay.
which is good and evil, celestial, fiend, undead.
Okay. Jawan
I have that.
Juwan is sort of like neutral or chaotic good. He is self-serving in a lot of ways, but fundamentally, he's not trying to do the wrong thing or trying to do the right thing for the wrong reasons. He, along with sort of your earlier insight, he's just kind of along for the ride. And y'all helped him out of a bind and vice versa. And so if he is a plant, if he is a spy, it's not of his own volition, at least.
I I almost killed you just now, but I want you to know that if we find out you are spying
You seem to be
because you
doing a
have
lot
these
of
cards,
that.
that's
Right.
my job.
Uh,
You have these cards which seem to dictate what is going on, and has been mentioned from Svetlana that this is something that Strahd does. This is
yeah, he looks at
it.
you. Sort of cocks his head to the side, and he says, "You have you ever seen these before? You got those two cards?"
Um, since I can't remember what happened the first time that the card showed up, but
Oh, it was
I
under
thought
the
that I think
plate,
that you,
the big pewter plate
yeah, it
at the
was
head of the
under the
table.
plate, but I believe that you said that I have seen these before when I rolled my investigation on
I
it
think you got a
or
very
whatever I
good
did.
insight check on those. So I can't imagine that you hadn't been exposed to them at least conceptually.
Yes, and so rolling with that, Zero nods in affirmative.
He says, lots of people use these, and he sort of says what I said. A bunch of any old idiot can buy a deck of these. Um, uh, but he says, why why would Strahd undermine his own plan by giving you a heads up?
Well, if I listened to the people that I am working with currently and hear their words as truths, Svetlana has said that this is just another way for him to fuck with us. Therefore,
You did use that
giving these
appropriately.
cards that represent us and have you be here to appropriately fuck with us would be pretty good tactics.
He looks you dead into your dark, deep eyes, and then he starts to look concerned. He says, "How's a guy like me supposed to interfere with all of you?" And obviously gesturing towards like you're like an avatar of death. You're some necrotic lady with a weird eye and another weird eye. That guy's got a hand that he can cast lightning through, and that lady is irresistible. I don't like. He's just like I don't know what to tell you.
Those that like to go amongst everyone usually are the meek.
Hey, pretty meek right here, bud.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know if this S guy's as dangerous and influential and powerful and crazy as all of you say. I mean, I what am I supposed to do? Throw myself off the boat?
I can take care of you if you would like.
I'm
I think you'd like my
okay.
job a
And he
little too much here.
starts to back up towards the side of the boat.
Look, that's he didn't mean it in that way. He won't do it.
Yes, he did.
He continues to back up towards the boat where he got on.
For the first time, I'll go stand by John's side.
I don't. Okay, all right, okay. Look, I pretty much said that I cannot possibly stand up to any of you, and I don't know how I could even. Okay, listen, very close. I
The wisps of magic touching his face.
yeah, it's like
Mercy, don't continue to bother him. Not right now.
Oh, and there's
Please.
still 3 of me, I think. So
four
three
of
of me
you, I think,
surround him.
total.
4 of me just surround him
Okay.
and like stand between him as like bodyguards almost.
Okay. All right. Look, is there some like way that you can like determine whether I'm being influenced by
I place my hand just straight over his face.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a tiny hand. So for a second there, it's like, face the hand. But then it's just like covers like this much.
Sure.
Like not a lot of surface. It's just more like a pa.
Yeah, he starts to back up and then bumps to another one of you and is like, oh god.
As I touch him, I'm I will detect good and evil.
Okay. Yeah, as you really get a sense for this guy, he's not evil. He's just not evil. It's almost a little it's somewhere between like a little bit of a letdown and a challenge. It's like when I tell people that I'm straight and they're like, "Oh, well, what if I do this?" I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you, man." That sensation where you're like, maybe I could corrupt him, but he's not. He's not evil. He's not.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep that information for myself.
Okay.
But I will just look up at Zero and go, if you trust my power as a caster, you'll understand he's not evil. And as I pull my hand away from like his face, I would just leave like a web.
Gross.
As much as your powers are from dubious source, I do believe you.
She curtsies.
Yeah, as that happens, yes, Sveta, you can sort of come back onto the scene. I don't know if you need to, but you certainly can stealth up onto this.
I got a 28 with my stealth roll. So
I think that's better. Well, I think that's better than everyone's passive, which is what it would be.
So I think that I would have arrived right as Nirasin was like taking her hand off of Joan's face, and I would have been standing right behind everyone. Maybe Joan could have seen me, probably because he was like facing me, but I'm standing right behind everyone. And I say, is this really any way to treat someone who just helped us this much? And I'm going to grab Joan by his arm and just like drag him off to my room with me.
Yeah, he shrieks with fear, expecting that Nerystine was just going to kill him, or Zero was going to kill him, and then whatever just grabbed him was going to kill him. And
I don't think that's the way to treat him either.
I instinctively grab him as well, thinking he's about to get dragged away by something.
What? Nerystine grabs it. You're so much tinier than I am, Nerystine.
I'm so much stronger.
Yeah, you guys just all tore to pieces.
All right, can I get strength checks for the both of you, please?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
17.
13.
Okay, Svetlana, as you are trying to walk him off, we see his left arm grabbed and pulled, and he tries to hold on to you and cannot, as he's sort of yanked back, and he goes, "Oh God, no!" And as you look back, you see that Nerystine's got a hold of him.
What the fuck, Nerystine?
Sorry,
Let
we're
him
trying to stop
go.
Zero from killing him right now.
Right, so you don't think that him coming with me would aid in stopping that?
She
No,
does
I'm
have a
trying to
point.
stop him from dying. If you take him back to your room, you're just gonna drain him.
No, that was not the plan here. Actually, I was
It's
going
never
to
the
try
plan
and
for you.
wait. I was going to try and make him comfortable, give him a glass of water, perhaps, make sure his hands are bound up nice so like they heal well, and then I was going to see if he has any way of getting us actually into the realm of Barovia. Okay.
For fuck's sake, do you need to? Okay, enough of this. You can discuss every single time we want about right approaches and all that, but listen, in case I don't have to remind you how I got into this place in the first place, this ship, as banged out as it is, it can still fly. Now, second, nobody's gonna kill anyone here. Third, a lack of any better options, we're going in that direction.
Yes.
Votes? Yes. No. Do I have to vote
Yes,
for myself?
we're going in that direction, but we come across the problem that there is like little bubble we have to cross to get to where we need to go.
I'm going to interrupt real quick here before you guys continue on. And a quick reminder, sort of how at least Svetlana is able to understand this space. Now, Zero, from your point of view, the bounds of different planes don't matter to you because your deity essentially drops you in a space, you eliminate a threat, and then you step back through the veil to wherever you're supposed to be next. Nerystine and Noller, both of you came here into the mists, which is sort of the one direction you get to go unless you are a pretty powerful entity. Ziraruth, the big, huge demon-winged guy, pretty powerful guy, and brought a coterie of fucking shadow creatures along with him. Pretty low-level ones at that. So getting out is the problem. Now, getting around inside, you do understand that Ravenloft is like the circle around this big multi-tiered sort of extraplanar structure. All of these little domains of dread, like little globules of bubbles, exist against one another. Some are growing, some are shrinking, but all of these various quote-unquote domains of dread are encapsulated in what is generally referred to as Ravenloft. Inside of that are different layers and structures, and sort of at the center of it is this constantly churning series of demiplanes, the center of which is Barovia and the castle in which Strahd commands and influences all of the other demiplanes around him, considered Ravenloft.
He's in the microverse.
I just thought we can just make him come to us.
No, so I really think that getting to him, attacking him where he sits would really be the best option.
We established us
We,
already.
we
many
already
times.
let him come to us once. It did not go very well.
Well,
Well-
yes, but if we go around destroying everything I was gonna say, enjoys in his kingdom,
But
I
think
think
about the
maybe
fact. But think about the fact that we will need things to help us. We've already determined we cannot defeat him on our very own.
let's take his things.
And so his things are going to be in his domain, Nirasine, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm sure he has things that he's given to people all around.
I don't think Strahd is a very giving person.
Okay,
Has
can we
wives.
just go to the edge of this plane and see for whatever reason we can cross it? Let's see if this ship has these abilities with it.
Svetlana
Yeah.
and Zero, you would both know pretty clearly that it's not that simple. The veil between these different demiplanes is insubstantial, so you can't just fly through it. There, you have to shift planes essentially to get out of here and into somewhere else. You guys are sort of in that bigger bubble right now in Ravenloft, or as it's colloquially known in Tierra, the Mists. Now, delving deeper can sometimes feel tangible in that you can literally just go down, but if you go down far enough, somewhere unknowingly you will cross a threshold and you will find the Shadowfell or the Underdark. They are sort of planes of existence that the threshold of which is not really perceptible. And so sometimes that's a way to get from plane to plane is just by happenstance. The other is more pointed and similar to both what Zero did earlier, banishment, or what you saw Juwan do, which was plane shift.
That's why I want. So, Joan, you've been here for a very long time. It's
Oh.
not so simple. We can't just fly there.
I mean,
So do you perhaps have a way that we could cross into Barovia easily, like without having to world jump, without knowing where we're going?
He reaches to a pouch on his belt and he pulls out this tuning fork, which is relatively small. There's barely enough end to grab between two fingers, and the fork is maybe 2.5, 3 inches long. And he says, I found this on a body. It seems to have a really intense magical power, but he looks around for like a loose article of something, and he says he grabs a little like extra pouch he's got, and he goes, "Okay, the thing is, like when I take this and I do this," and he rings
Oh,
the tuning fork against it, and it disappears. And he
the tuning
says,
fork does?
No, the bag that
Oh.
that he taps with it. He says, "Here's the thing. I think this is quite literally attuned to just the Ravenloft.
Where does it go?
I don't know, but just not here, I guess."
Well, that's not gonna work.
Whatever he is. Well, if we
Hey.
find more of them,
Hey,
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 so that
Hey.
that fork is attuned to Ravenloft in general.
yeah, I think so. I
Somewhere.
don't know. I think that's how the individual or creature that had it got here, but they're gonzo.
Zero, you said earlier you tried to send Adele somewhere.
No.
No, Zero.
Oh, Zero did.
Zero said earlier that he was sad and tried to say that you tried to send Adele somewhere.
And this whole time, Zero has just been looking back and forth from the four of Juwan, Noller, Narasine, and Svetlana as you're all talking and saying your things. And when Svetlana addresses Zero, Zero is looking at you and then turns to Narasine and goes, to be truthful, I do trust what you say as a spellcaster. So I tried to, turning back to Svetlana, I tried to take Adele from under the ground to banish her so that I could bring her out from under the ground and then unbanish her by not banishing her anymore. And she would be back.
So could we not, and I look back at Joan, could we not use the tuning fork with his banishment and tune it to Barovia?
I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work because I feel we will have to be in Barovia for that to be possible.
Roll me Arcana checks for anyone who is interested.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Advantage.
12.
Oh, that sucks. I got the
3
same
-
roll
1, 2.
twice in a row. What?
I got 11.
I got a 10.
Wow. So we got a
suck.
10, we got an 11, we got a, what else?
2.
12.
And a 12. The idea, as obvious as it is, very quickly settles in as a near impossibility. Because as it is uttered, you'd have to be in Barovia. You realize that whatever attunement these things have, it is from being forged in whatever plane they are directing someone or something to.
But I was forged in Barovia.
You were born in Barovia, which potentially.
Well, I need my fucking necklace, is what you're saying right now.
Well, I'm actually saying two things. The first of which is that it's going to be even more difficult, even though, like, you're like, oh, Zero could just banish me and that'll send me back to Barovia. But you realize that having been exiled, you could actually find yourself ceasing to exist. Yeah, or hitting that barrier, and God only knows where you end up in these much larger, much more deadly domains that encircle it.
Fuck.
But.
But if we
Okay.
had my necklace.
Okay. That attunement fork.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Barovia or Ravenloft or just this bubble? Do you know of that?
Let's check. He says, I think that it's kind of random, but I think that it's. I mean, there's two problems. First, it seems random because this is Ravenloft. When you tap things in Ravenloft with it, they just go somewhere else. Or at least this doesn't make things disappear. Strahd clearly wasn't just invisible in that room. He left, thank God. But
can we make more of them?
Well, yeah, but then they would just bring you here.
No,
Wait,
can we make them?
Wait.
Else?
Why did you not ever use this fork to just bloop yourself out of that prison?
Random.
Could be
random.
Could be.
I figured eventually I could pick my way out, or I might just stumble across other people's goodies. I didn't realize there was something in there, at least not at first.
Now, go back to what I said. I assume you don't know how exactly it works, but we could try find someone who does, and with luck, maybe attune it to maybe even guide us or combine it with the ship too, so it works with that. Maybe we could find something that can do that.
Teleporting ship.
I
Yeah, I mean,
We'd be
although
really good
although
pirates
he
then.
almost clearly doesn't understand how exactly that would work, Juwan is like down the clown with that whole concept. He's like very excited by the potential of it, which you can see on his face is like, wow, that would, oh wow, amazing.
I know, but there's only one way I can think of where we could even find something like that, or even if not, someone or an indication of what to do or what or how to. I
Um,
don't,
he
I only know one
scratches
place.
his chin, and as you say, you know only one place.
Oh
You
well, only one possibility.
what? Well, what's on your mind, bud?
I'm sorry, Sveti. The only town that is nearby that I can see.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll
Let's
have
do
to
it.
stay on the ship
Why?
because I don't know if I can control myself in that city full of those people that I will just love to rip to shreds. I'm gonna start drooling a little bit,
Okay.
like just
But what
love
if we
to
just
rip
get you
to
like one of
shreds.
them ahead of time? You know, like a pre snack.
I don't think it works that way. If I had my necklace, it would be different story. I don't know if I could control myself in that sort of setting. You don't understand the kind of people these people are.
I might be able to help you for a full day with your rolls, but it would only last for one day and only once.
Svetlana, um, in all seriousness, do you know any other option? Do you know anyone else? Because if you've been holding out on anyone that could help us, please tell us right now. Because I don't want to go there either, but we need a way to go between these planes or to find a way to actually cross the planes, a place, or anything else. I'm gonna have options. So is anyone here a master arcanist of some sort that can work this out?
would
A
any
mas-
of would any of the gypsy people be able to travel between the planes?
I mean, legend has it, but as a people, they're generally just like we just never settle down. Um, but it is essentially said that the wisest, most powerful sort of like oracles could essentially transcend space because they could see the truth, kind of very Matrix-esque, where it's like it all just breaks down into sort of like code, and you're just like boop boop. But with magic. Um, I looked up a name, and I'm very excited. This is from, I want to be very clear, fantasynamegenerators.com. Um, Jawan raises his hand sheepishly as you say a great and powerful arcanist.
Spit it out.
Looking quizzically.
I met a man once, and his arcane prowess was undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke with such gravitas that I couldn't help but think that every word he uttered was dripping with magical power.
Who?
He was truly magnificent.
What was the name?
Morgan
Morgan what?
Freeman.
Are you sure that's not a god you're speaking of?
No,
Stop.
She wasn't on like vacation or something.
I don't
Maybe left
know.
someone else in charge of his realm for a little while, and it turned into like
Listen,
a chaos DD.
I mean, all I'm saying is that his powers are sort of been like unparalleled from anyone that I've ever met.
And you said his words were dripping with magic.
Absolutely, like as if
Stop.
his every syllable was a cascade of arcane power.
Do you
Where
know
did
where
you
he
meet
is?
the man?
I do I know where he is, and what was the other one? Narasine.
Do you know where he is?
I got that one. Narasine, what did you? Is that pretty much what you said too?
Yeah, I asked where. Do you know where was he?
He goes. Do any of you have a map?
We
I'll
all looked
go-
nowhere.
We
Uh,
all look in the
The table.
I'll go get back, fetch the
Wait.
table again, and I'll go and show him the map that I've been drafting.
Okay.
Is the table okay? Was the table wasn't damaged in the wreckage?
No, it was the table is fine.
Cool.
It's ebony black surface, unscathed.
I
Except
touched
for
the
the
table
knife
with-
hole that I left in it.
I repaired it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you repaired it? Never
I
mind.
touched the map and leave a little bit of blood on it.
And I clean it again with prestidigitation.
Nice. As all of you sort of surround this table, we can see your somewhat distorted reflections in that polished black surface. And he reaches into his bag and produces a few maps of his own. And he sort of goes through a few, and you see this curl of maps that was obviously the different layers of the Citadel of Gardesi, and shoves them to the side. And then he starts producing rolled pages for which there are like small sections of map that have been drafted, but he just doesn't know which parts go where, how. I haven't really been everywhere yet, but he pulls out two pieces of paper that seem to line up with the coastline that you were on when all of you met. And as that was Minnesum, or the ridge, and he produces another one to the north and west. Yes.
I just want to say that, like, at some point in all of this, Svetlana takes out the egg and
Interesting.
and is just like holding it and petting it, but like holding it over the map,
Nice.
just kind of petting it.
Excellent. Roll me a perception check, please. Just a flat one. No advantage on this one.
12.
Okay. Moving along. Yeah, there's a second section to the north where you see a lake and a forest area. Then you see another section that looks like Gardesi and sort of the mountains there. Those are the three that he's able to sort of line up with what you've done. He's got 4 or 5 more pages in this stack, and he starts to sprawl them out. And he says this place was called the Shale Hand. And you see on one of the pieces of parchment, he turns it around, and there's a map sort of from overhead, and it looks like a real big rocky, like flat, almost prominence at the edge of a coastline. And there's no like topographical information or anything like that. It just seems to be a flat, very large map. and with very minor detail of like a few, like the streets probably go like this, and there's at least these structures that you can see. And then you look lower on that page, and things look very different because you see an area of the map, like a flat line here, and sort of a slight a skyline. And then you see this tremendous series of spires that look like the city is resting in the palm of a hand, which stands out away from the ocean, like there's a recess, and you can also see from now a profile these spires and then more jagged rocks from the other side. Good thing you guys have a fucking ship that flies.
That looks like a great place to set up like a home base and take over. I mean, just a great place to visit from time to time.
Yeah, you see Juwan's face just like turn and look, and then you see his left eye start to flutter, and he just rubs it and looks back down at the map. And he says, "I don't
So-
know where this is on this," and he just sort of like moves it around helplessly on this large unfinished section of map.
Can I roll sleight of hand to try and put it together like a puzzle as someone as a young girl prior to many of the damnations that followed, she was primarily just a book dweller that lived in her father's library.
Roll me a survival.
Did a
check.
lot of puzzles and the like. Survival? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not
roll me a
negative on that one.
No, you should have a bonus on that.
I have 16.
Okay. You
Do I
do
have
sort
any-
of just like shuffle these things around. I'm gonna, God, eventually I am gonna have to sit
Oh, I
down
had
and
blessed myself earlier. Would that still be going?
Sure, why not? Hit me with that sweet, sweet D4 action. It's D4, right?
Yeah. +2, 18.
Okay. I like this. As you start to lay out these other pieces of parchment, the scale of them might not be in line with this bigger map. In fact, it seems like because he's using individual sheets of parchment, it's much, much larger in scale than what you're looking at on this bigger map. But you think like, well, this thing goes over here, and well, this probably is a prominence down here. And you start thinking about the world as it used to be, and before it was sort of overcome by the mists. And you know that the planes have been affected and sort of overlapped and twisted, but you start to lay out these different pieces. And as you do, you're like, well, it wouldn't make sense for this to be here and that be there. And while you're sort of moving these around, you grab that piece with shale hand on it and set it down in the like sort of the far southeast edge of what you're sort of thinking this continent might be. Are you talking?
I was muted. I just kind of stop at that point. She just kind of stops touching it. She just kind of takes a step back and just holds her hands and arms, just everything fully stretched. Just
and then you look down and you move that sheet of paper, the parchment with you just sort of move it up and to the left just a little bit more.
And I'm still looking at them like, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Does that make?
And y'all aren't quite sure if she's trying to convey that it is actually closer, or this is the place we're going to, and this is the way we need to head.
She's not 100% sure on that front either. It's very much like it was instinctual, put together the puzzle, not sure what the puzzle means, really hoping that others are going to fill in those blanks.
Would I have enough knowledge of the land to like understand it better?
Roll me a history check. Roll me a history check.
History?
A history check. Something you're good
not,
at, right?
Not survival. I mean, I'm looking at maps.
Is survival better than your
Would she
history?
get her
In my
advantage on the
survival,
history check?
I do get advantage on history, but my survival modifier is so much better.
Interesting. Well, here I often give people options. You pick. You can have advantage on a history check, or you can roll straight survival.
I also technically have advantage on my survival, though.
That's relating to fiends, fae, and undead, though, right?
It's like tracking. That's because of your.
It's because of my rogueness.
Yeah, it's for
from
Blood Hunter.
Scout. Oh,
or from Rogue. Which is it?
No, it's from Rogue because now I'm like with the new character sheet. It's a Blood Hunter Barbarian Rogue.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I have advantage and a +5 on my survival.
Well, then go to town. Let's see what you got.
Holy shit!
All right, okay.
12.
Okay. So first roll was 23.
Okay.
Second roll was 12.
Okay.
You jinxed me.
Well, you get them.
I got a 23.
You get them. Hey, you get them both. But here's the rub. You think that Narasine hit the nail pretty close to the head. Scale being different on the maps, you're like, it might be the far end of that picture, it might be the near end of it. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're headed. We're going to head close enough that sure as hell we're going to see some finger somewhere in that general perspective if we go.
And this place. So this place is a castle city, more or less?
You can see that it looks like a pretty tremendous promenade with a few different tiers and a spire in the middle. And it's got some larger buildings throughout these three little tiers.
Wait, is it the castle or is it still in this part of Ravenloft?
No, this is Shalehand.
Okay.
The city itself. But I'll also say this, Svetlana. The map, that section of map that's missing there is a little problematic.
Not good.
No, it's called the Rift.
Not good. I'm gonna just put my finger there and be like, not good.
And the Rift is a chasm that runs. It's like a slice in the earth where it's mountains and stony like prominences coming up. And it goes all the way down into magma. And the things that thrive on this environment are absolutely hellacious.
So that is not the way. Yeah, no, I just point at the map and I'm just like, not good.
No, it sounds fun.
It's also pretty cool because it doesn't just go down. You see a lot of those prominences become so enriched with magical energy that they literally lift off of the ground, and whole ecosystems of horrifying creatures float very happily throughout the sky on these like stalactite-like city structures.
Right. So that is not good. This city though, this is somewhere where we could find someone that could help us avoid that.
Yeah, Joan literally said that.
Okay.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan.
God
oh.
damn it.
God
Well,
damn.
anyways,
instead. Maybe I can vote him into deityhood.
Oh no. So we need to go to this city. Which direction is the city?
We're looking at the map.
Looks up from the boat. I don't think the boat's moving. I think you guys are still in the city of Gardazi, or the Citadel of Gardazi. he sort of looks up and turns around and points back behind him to the left at a pretty steep angle. And he says, that way. And that's where I'm gonna have to leave you tonight.
You have to leave us on a Morgan Freeman fucking joke? Are you serious?
It's not a joke.
right
I
now?
want to be very clear. I look on my page for Roma names. Literally,
That's not even
Morgan
fantasy.
and Freeman.
Oh my god.
It's right there. What am I supposed to do? Not put Morgan Freeman in the game now? It says it on the thing.
You have to try to do the voice though when you come.
I know.
Yeah.
This is the challenge to me, and I'm not actually excited because I could not possibly bring that level of gravitas and magic, arcane power to my words the same way. So I don't know. It'll be
Well, your
hopefully I
funeral.
won't be cursed.
Yikes.
Well, anyways,
Yikes.
just as a final thing to say, as long as it has a place where we can replace it,
Yeah.
where we can repair this ship, I'll be happy.
As you guys turn about, we see the ship lift off, and we very quickly are whisked past thousands and thousands of miles of coastline and islands and mountains until we see it rising over the horizon, these spires of stone looking like gnashing teeth with these cities hanging over them. And we see a tremendous winged beast sweep past us and scream. And in the darkness, we hear crunching. And that's where I'll leave you tonight.
Cool. Cool. So does that mean that
Sorry,
like
dude,
while
we're
we're
gonna have issues.
wait, so that thing was like right around the ship?
No, it was thousands and thousands of miles away.
Cool. So like while we take off on the ship, we could totally just like long rest is what I'm saying. Like as we fly, we could
How
just
about a
like
show-
long rest.
You guys just
If we
woke
get
up.
a
Come on,
19
you
or
guys
20
just
on
got
a
up.
day 20, can we get a short rest?
We'll talk about it next time.
You want a long rest. You are not the one that got shanked.
Yeah, you guys
I
haven't been
used
up
like
at
all my
today.
spells.
I
Uh,
used my circlet fighting the
Weird.
big rock monster.
Amazing.
I could
Crazy.
use a break.
Crazy, yeah. We could all use a fucking break.
You could use a break.
I could use a break too.
Zero's good.
Yeah,
I cast a lot of
Zero's
spells
fine.
to
You
just
guys
like
are fine.
prep for the fight that never happened.
It was almost like the card. The fool's errand of a fight that both of you were able to avoid. Novel. Really, really novel. Anyway, unfortunately, I must bid you adieu and au revoir and remind you, as always, to be good, take care of yourselves, and if you can't be good, don't get caught. Good night, everybody.
Zero, I plan on giving out pamphlets at other churches.